Thanksgiving. I don't eat. I try not to even eat on the day of Thanksgiving. The day after though, I tears it down.
Now I'm a crush for like till Sunday, Thursday to Sunday. I'm eating Thanksgiving food. After that, I'm
Thanksgiving. One holiday I take off. That's the only holiday I take off.
And say, hey, listen, we just did the holiday schedule, and the only holiday I have off is Thanksgiving. That's my day to eat some good food, talk trash to my family, and watch my Cowboys game. Man, hey, bro, listen. So I was having this conversation with my property manager and the guy downstairs, and we were talking about, I like, yo, Jerry Jones, I saw him with the whole, hey, he didn't take his hat off. Did you see his hand? What was wrong with his hand? He had like the little, I don't know, radio situation going on with his hand.
He has, like arthritis in his 3 joints. Like he broke his hand like something when he was repairing a car at a young age. I looked into that, but I think it's like a type of arthritis. But
do you think he has RA? Because that's what it looked like. He looked like he was struggling, like it was discomfort in his hand.
He might low-key be suffering.
But he's in his 70s and he hasn't lived the healthiest life.
No, yeah.
I mean, a lot of boozing and drugs and lascivious living can easily do that to anybody.
I wouldn't put it past him.
And I think that's why he's yielded to Steven so much, because Steven's at a point where, you know, financially and mentally that he can take over things. But that team, I get it. Like, it's a disappointing thing to hear how they're talking, because it seems like Jerry. Now Zeke, I don't give Zeke any credit. Dak is highly intelligent. I just heard an interview. Didn't I send it to you?
Yeah.
I sent it to you. So Rashad Jennings was interviewed by Colin Cowherd, and Rashad Jennings was talking about him. And what's the dude that the coach who just got fired from Texas A&M?
Oh, Mike.
Kevin Sumlin. Yeah, Kevin Sumlin. He just got fired. He was Texas A&M coach. The guy, Kevin Sumlin, said he passed on Dak. And he said, but what'd you like about Dak so much? He's like, he's just so smart. He's like, but what else? He's just so smart. The boy is smart. The boy is working on his PhD in psychology. He's not an idiot. And you have to understand, people that are like that, they're thinking on a 3-4 dimensional level. They're not thinking how you're thinking.
Yeah.
And Dak's playing the long game. He's got the most prestigious job in the whole, and in all of sports. He's got the toughest job, because if you win as a Dallas Cowboy quarterback, you're on top of the world. If you lose, you're getting crushed by everybody, because so many people hate the Cowboys in the media.
Scum. It's the thing, and I guess like so. Oh yeah, you're on the identity booth. My name's Hero. That's Eric.
Y'all should know by now.
If you don't know by now, go find some business. But our business is talking about this, so we can relate with you as you guys identify with us, as we're trying to identify with you guys. It's difficult to do through the camera, but just know I love you. And I haven't said it often. Look, I'm coming to y'all. Don't say it often, and I constantly troll you guys on the internet with rude comments and disparaging titles. But I'm here to tell you, I do care about you guys, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, can I give a shout out to one of our subscribers?
Please.
Shout out to Terry Ann.
Whoa!
Shout out to Terry Ann.
Terry Ann, I heard through the grapevine that you was talking about me. Now, I'm not going to go into details, and here on the identity booth, unless we're doing shout outs, we don't name names and we don't call places out. But since we know you're such a great supporter of us, and you've watched some of our backlog, I'm here to let you know you were always my favorite. Yes. You were always my favorite.
Yeah.
And don't let nobody tell you anything otherwise, even if it's Eric. But no, seriously, thank you guys. The channel's recovering. We're getting some hype back in. We're going through the motions. We're getting better at this. And a lot of people are complimenting our sound quality, thanks to the dual mics now.
Well, yeah. We had it for a while. We just never used it. I don't know what we were thinking.
I don't know why we thought we were better than the system. This podcast is a fickle bitch. Like,
yes.
If you and we just talk about shit products. Me and Eric are fans of shit product because we used to give y'all some shit stuff and think it was amazing, and it was.
The content was amazing, but the quality was absolute booty.
Yeah, like, what the fuck were we thinking? Like,
hey, we were just excited. We were just trying to get going.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And we didn't want to procrastinate because we had been talking for months and we just never got together. So we just got together and made it happen, and it was kind of doo-doo. But we got better.
It used to take us like 30 minutes to set all of this up. Now we can do it in 10 minutes flat.
Yeah. And it's the only reason why it's 10 minutes because we taking that 10 minutes to
talk. Yeah, we're trying to still talk.
Speaking of talking, let's get on what Dak Prescott was talking about.
Okay. So, this story, I'm going to say this, and I want you as a person with context. I haven't seen the NFL in 3 years. I've sworn off the NFL until they figure out how to properly handle this protest thing, like every other major national sports in America. There's no issue with this in the NBA. There's no issue with this in Major League. Even though we have players in the Major League who are taking knees, no one is making an issue of this. But the reason that this is so personal to me is because not only is the NFL surrounded and drenched in the black community, it has been proven that it is effectively killing the people that are playing the sport. So these people are dying to play this sport, and they're now being subjugated of their own God-given right to protest, to speak freely. So the thing that I don't like about this is the protest and how it's been hijacked and turned into this one thing. Another thing I don't like is that Jerry Jones has turned this into he's drawn the line in the sand. And because of his actions, it's forced other players like Sherman and Jenkins to speak out, saying stuff as, "Oh, that's the plantation mentality. He was born and raised in that. Of course, he's going to do that."
Okay, so let me play, the other side. Okay, so when this all first started, did not Jerry Jones take a knee with his team?
And that's the hypocrisy of it. He did, but you know why he did it? Because he was outnumbered. You want to know? No,
Jerry Jones, I'm sorry, is not outnumbered.
And
he is the face of the NFL. He's closer to the White House than any other owner.
Probably Kraft is the second closest.
And Kraft is a close second.
Okay. I argue with that, and I'm not. Don't get me wrong. When I say he was outnumbered, he wasn't outnumbered by his team. He was outnumbered by the owners. The owners, and that is the only way you beat Jerry.
See, but here's the deal. How many other owners took a knee? Shah Khan did?
All of them did.
I saw Kraft
do it. They probably didn't take a knee, but they lined up. They showed solidarity.
Yeah.
Which is one thing. But I'm saying...
But I'm saying there's only Shah Khan and Jerry, the only owners I saw come out on the field and link arms with their employees.
Baltimore did it too.
With their employees, with his employees, and take a knee with them.
Yeah.
He did that.
He did. But I feel like that was retaliation towards the president. And he had no choice but to retaliate because the NFL was retaliating.
But that's what I'm saying. At Jerry Jones, whenever he does something, it makes national news for a week. It's almost like a LeBron James story.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Jones, if he does well, if he wins, people will be on their knees in front of him. And if he does bad, they're behind him, bending him over. He really can't win. He can't.
But in this situation, I felt like, especially, and now migrating over to the players, because the NFL is comprised over of 70% African Americans.
Yeah.
If all African Americans took a knee or just said they're not going to play in the NFL, that'd be the end of the NFL. Period.
It would be.
No matter how you want to equate it, if the NFL really wanted players, and this is why I don't hold the players in high regards. You can't look at these players as idols or good people because, the truth be told,
they're looking out for a paycheck.
So, then I received this context from Eric and just the cerebral nature after looking into Dak Prescott's past. The fact that he lost his mother at a young age to a cancer and traumatic situation. But Dak Prescott in 2015, I believe, was beaten to a pulp for his performance during a game or something like that.
Yeah, and a fan ran up on Buddy and ran up. No, Dak allowed it. Dak didn't swing at the dude.
And when I say beating, because it wasn't a fight, Dak was so far into the future that he knew that if he retaliated and injured this guy in any extent, he would lose in court, and he would have. Because all they would have to do is show Dak Prescott power cleaning 225 pounds. Mm-hmm. And then the judge is like, well, yeah, you could be considered a weapon. And so he allowed this to happen and didn't do anything. And this is when it occurred to me that Dak Prescott doesn't care. He doesn't care about your protests.
Or your opinions.
And it's not that he doesn't care because he doesn't like you. And that's what people get confused. Mm-hmm. When I first heard the story, I assumed that Dak Prescott, I want to trade your ass for Anne Hathaway at the Black Congregation the next time we meet. But I took it personal. Dak has removed himself from there. He's able to tell a receiver of 16 years in the league that maybe if I throw it directly at your head, you will have a better chance of catching it.
I'll throw it to you when you're open. If he can walk in day one and say, hey, bro, you're not at the spot where you're supposed to be, then that lets me know that he's the guy that we need. We need somebody who's not afraid to do that. And it's funny because I was telling Hero, I was like, when is the last time the Cowboys had a quarterback that just did not care? That was cerebral and didn't care. I said the last time we had a quarterback like that was over 20 years ago, and when he was playing, we won 3 championships in a decade. I'm saying, it matters. It matters. Honestly, if it wasn't for Jerry Jones, that could have been 4 or 5 consecutive championships. That team was that good. Troy Aikman today is still one of the most cerebral analysts, and he's one of the most balanced guys in all of television sports media. I'm just saying, like, this guy, I saw him for Father's Day. This guy makes me look tiny. This dude is 6'5", 240 pounds, jacked, vascular, today. You can't tell on the news with suits. Anyway, I don't want to veer off. I'm just saying, Dak Prescott, what he said, I don't feel like it was that bad because, like Hero said, it wasn't coming from the place that I don't like myself. And I've heard a bunch of retards in the media, in the sports media.
We don't use that language. No. Mentally challenged.
No. These people are actually, they're mentally handicapped. Nah. And I'm sorry, I'm going to call a name because I don't like this guy.
Oh, no.
Rob Parker. He's an absolute trash bag. Absolute trash bag. He says he's ashamed of Dak Prescott. He called Dak Prescott a traitor to his race.
And I don't want to discount it. Dak Prescott isn't right about his statement. He's entitled to it, but he isn't right. Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm saying he's right because regardless of what your profession is or your position is, if you have a following that amasses in the millions, you have a moral obligation to do what is right. And when you are making millions of dollars in a country where people who look like you 100 years ago couldn't, and still to today can't, you have a moral obligation to speak in light of situations off the field. Yeah. Sure. On the field, someone asks you a question, hey, if you want any of my social commentary, please refer to my Twitter. You have 110, please refer to my spokesperson. Someone could craft that in a way that you could never say it on live TV. But a non-answer is the equivalent of
a bad answer.
Bad answer. So, like, me and Eric don't agree on this.
But let's break down what he actually said. Like, I watched the whole interview. He said he's all about activism. Mm-hmm. He says his point of view is that what Kaepernick did by taking the knee and then the subsequent players that followed behind Kaepernick, he felt like it got the point across. He says, why are we still talking about taking knees? He said we need to be looking at taking the next steps of activism. And that isn't bad. That is correct. Yeah. Why are we still talking about a person who's not in the league? He'll never be in the league again. But he did do something that sparked conversation. We've been talking about this for 3 years
now.
That's what I'm saying.
He's done his job.
So Dak Prescott is right. He said what he set out to accomplish, I feel like he accomplished. Yeah. We need to be taking the next step. And that's not wrong. And the fact that these people aren't objective. They're not objective enough to realize what he's saying is 100% correct. Lets me know that these people are intellectually dishonest and they're not genuine. in their point of view and in their delivery of the information.
To steal a word from someone I don't like is fake news.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's just people taking a radical stance to what Dak said because it's good for TV. It's good for ratings, and I feel like these people are online, and if that's their point of view for real, and these dudes are 50 plus years old, like, you know, Shannon Sharp just turned 50. You know, Rob Parker's, if he ain't 50, he's 50 plus. And this guy is a professor at a major university out in California. The fact that this guy has an audience of students that he's teaching every year and that's his perspective, I would never take that dude's class. In fact, I would go sit in this class and heckle him.
Come to UAPB, you'll get a better education.
Hey. Yeah.
Hey, but like I said, me and Eric don't agree on this, but we find common ground. Next topic. Zimbabwe had their first election. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I want to go to Zimbabwe.
The results are in.
Yeah.
ZEC, an outside entity, helped count and calibrate the situation. And for you guys that don't know, there was two major parties that were involved in this. There was an older traditional party, and their motto was basically Zimbabwe is open for business. And then the younger party was sort of like big dreams. Like really big dreams, like building a bullet train, in and out of the country, and like building it up to look like Wakanda. So people were kind of skeptical because if you can think about Zimbabwe, there are places where they don't have indoor plumbing. Yeah. So that's perspective. Yeah. So people were scattered, but 40% of the population who were registered to vote were within the millennial age. So it was suspected that the younger guy was going to win, but turns out he didn't win, even though their campaign made an early announcement that they were leading in the popular vote, which they did have, but they did not have the electoral votes to win. So, and people are believing now that there's some type of conspiracy. They want to recount. There 8 people have been killed during the riots, and the UN has condemned the military force. That was the first time you've seen military-grade weaponry used on civilians. So I kind of can see, I'm happy that this election happened, but if there was I would like to see a recount through another third party that isn't closely tied to the country, and I would also like to see some form of punishment for the use of
the deadly force by the police,
by your not police, military. So like, it's a sad and bitter story, but at the same time, like, you gotta know when to take it out. Just because you lost the election, and this is something that we and you talk about a lot. President Trump winning the election will not directly affect me. Local government will directly affect me. Like, the things Trump are changing can all be changed with another
flick of the pen.
Yeah, so all these regulations and everything. We have records of what he's doing. So all we have to do is go back and hit undo. So it's not difficult. The things you do suffer through for months at a time is when they decide to up your state taxes
or your local taxes.
And now all of a sudden, you got to wait 6 months till you can even talk about this, and then another 6 months before you can change it. So focus in. I'm from Africa. Eric wants to go to Africa, so we're talking about Zimbabwe.
Yeah, and even in Zimbabwe, the main point was what's going on with the money there. They have a whole situation like. So what happened was, the end of last year, the whole Mugabe family was there. You know, Robert Mugabe had been ruling there 40 plus years.
42.
And what happened was he had a general of his army, and the general was suspected of being a traitor, so he was exiled. So he was in I think he was in Joburg for a while. And what happened was the government of China actually approached him. They went to Joburg, found that general, approached him. And was like, hey, how many people do you have loyal to you still? He was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I still got the whole military. So what they did was they supported him, put some bread in his pocket, and they had a quiet coup. And they ran the whole Mugabe family out of there. His wife, his sons, all of them. They got rid of all of them. They all gone. And they installed him as the leader. And what happened was China did that because Zimbabwe is the most mineral-rich nation in the whole continent of Africa. And so China wants in on those minerals, those natural resources, and they also want to establish some places for people to live. So That's what's going on. They got the country completely out of debt, completely off the dollar, and that's why you see all this stuff happening. So I'm telling you, like, this stuff is real. Like, Zimbabwe's money has been hyperinflated for since 2008, and so now it's 10 years later. They're out of debt. They've got serious backing now. They're tapping into their minerals. They're going to be a rich nation in the next 2 election cycles for them. They're going to be a really rich nation. I believe that their money is coming back online. And financial tip for y'all: you can go buy you some Zimbabwe money right now.
That would be a good time.
That would be a good time.
And also Facebook. That would be a good time.
Shout out to that. 20% dip on Facebook.
That would be a good time.
Hey, financial tip number 2. We buy the dips and sell the rallies. If you don't know what that means, you need to put a comment in there, and I'll do another video explaining what that is.
You guys, like, I can't wait to get back into my money game because, like, I've been seeing these things and I've been saying to myself, like, and especially when, like, now that I'm in a position where I can actually do damage, like, there's always a conversation about start slow, go big. Like, now I want to be able to go in and say, no, I'm going to buy 5,000 of this.
That's how bosses do it. You know, you save a bit money, put it aside, make some good financial decisions.
I plan on being a benevolent king.
Yes.
Are we going next?
Next
topic. Kind of ties in with the last topic. There's trouble in paradise. The Koch brothers are fighting with Donald Trump.
Well, they're
actually, you know what? I want to move on to the next topic that I feel is way more important, and I got half out here. So I just want to brush this. Like, all right, Koch brothers are fighting. Like, Koch brothers, if you don't know, they have they're out for political gain. So they don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If you're doing something they like, they're gonna pay for you to do it more.
Yeah, like Black Lives Matter.
That's not always true. Eric doesn't like Black Lives Matter.
Black lesbians matter.
I mean, they do matter.
Yeah. It's not Black Lives, it's Black lesbians.
They do matter, but, like, ostensibly, so even, like, now they were supporting Bernie, but Bernie's not taking their money.
Which is smart.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's dumb because these people have a lot of political capital, but it's smart that he doesn't accept handouts from them because that's them wanting the reach around later.
Yeah, of course. And I never understood how that concept works because if someone gives me money and wants me to do bad things, I'll be like, no, but thanks for the money. What you gonna do? You gonna fight me? You gonna tell people you gave me money? Fuck out of here. Like, you've lost. Like, I don't understand that gambit. And that's like something from out of the movies. Like in the movies where they say, tell me everything you know. And they're like, so you can kill me? Go fuck yourself. You can torture me all your life. At least I won't be dead. like these are the things that I don't understand. So, like, I shout out to Bernie in the progressive left on that action front, but, like, Donald Trump is in a spasm right now. He's gasping for air. So he'll do anything to make you think about anything else other than the Russia thing, like telling you that you need your ID to buy groceries. So just know that it's all a fuck situation. I can't wait till the Robert Mueller thing goes through. Paul Manafort bought a $1,500,000 ostrich jacket.
That's kind of player.
It is player as fuck, but he's going to jail.
He should go to jail for that.
He's going to jail for that.
You wasting my tax dollars on a $15,000 ostrich jacket.
That shit was clean.
I mean, are you freaking super fly? Are you a
that
pimp?
Shit was super clean.
I bet, bro. I'm with it.
When they showed that shit in court, I was like,
he might have to run that jacket.
Yeah.
I might have to get it.
If that goes up on auction, I'm definitely gonna put a bid in. I might not win it.
I'm definitely not gonna win, but I'm gonna put a bid in
just because I want to say I was part of that. But let's talk about something that this might very well be its own little segment. The 3D guns.
Oh yeah.
They have. All right. So for all you guys that don't know, guns are everywhere in America. There are 8 guns to every civilian in the country, and I'm not just talking about adults. I'm talking about even with kids.
That's how many guns we have in this country.
You only have 2 fucking hands.
But I got a waistband, so when I go empty, then I can just dump down and grab my other ones.
There are more guns in America than there are in a whole month of Call of Duty playing. That's just tragic. You can only hold 2 guns in Call of Duty. Like, so in real life, moving on. Yeah. The 3D, it's been paused, so a federal judge has put a halt to it
Which it doesn't mean anything. People who have to own the printers are still going to print their guns.
Yeah, and you're right. There's always a reason, but there is something to be said about the ramifications of allowing this. Me and Eric, once again, we don't agree on this topic, and mine's is more of a safety thing on a general scale because everything evolves with time. The purpose of a 3D gun is to be untraceable. Only person who doesn't, me and Eric agree on this topic that if you want to own a gun, you have to be registered. It has to be registered, and you need to be registered.
Yes.
So anyone who wants a 3D gun innately doesn't want it for legal purposes. It's just my belief.
They want it because, again, like Hero said, Hero's right as far as the safety is concerned. I always think of it I'm more of a conspiracy, mass, government control of individuals type background. And so you see all these shootings going on, and they're making a run on the guns. Let's not even get it twisted. There's something that Hero and I both know. They are making a run on the guns. If I don't need Smith & Wesson, or I don't need Glock, I don't need Winchester to make my gun anymore. I don't need a wood stock. I don't need a metal barrel anymore. And I can just take some cheap plastic and mold me a gun and sell it for the same price as they selling the Winchester or the Smith & Wesson. And when I get done with it, I can put it in some hydrochloric acid and get rid of it.
What do I need?
What do I need them for? And when I can manufacture my own gun and you can't trace it and I can walk through a metal detector, there's no one that can tell me anything. You can't take my guns. This is the reason why you're getting this response, why they had to get a judge to get an injunction to get people to pause the manufacturing of these plastic guns is because they had to figure out how to get ahead of this. They weren't anticipating people taking a 3D printer and making a gun. The government wants control of all ways of a human being to defend themselves. If you have a plastic gun,
you have to think about how people. Let's be frank here, because by natural reaction, we as human beings, we are reactionary in our fallacies. What I mean by that is, a girl gets hit in the middle of the street because a guy was speeding. The issue isn't the innate thing to do is to put a speed bump instead of you just changing the speed limit or putting people posted at the position to help people cross, because that costs money. That's indicative of the situation. You just put a speed bump there and it fucks everyone's suspension up. Or for the family that lost a girl, they get to feel what it was like to hit their own girl every time that they go past the speed bump. Weird, huh? But the situation is now, you give people these guns. Me and you fly a lot. I go through metal detectors constantly at TSA, and I'm here to tell you they're not effective. And we have a report saying that they barely, when tested,
TSA doesn't save anybody. They're not effective. There's been
70%. Yeah, 70% is their pass rate. Would you trust somebody 70% of the time? No. So the fact that we now have guns that are not traceable, because ostensibly, if I use this gun to murder somebody and melt it down, how are you going to convict me of shooting somebody when you can't produce the murder weapon? How many people? I've gotten hundreds of people out of jail just off of that fallacy. Where's the murder weapon? Can't produce one. So we also agree that people, and I forgot how we said it, but basically, people will go to any extreme length to surpass the government, to get ahead of the government. And that's rightful so. But at some point, we as human beings have to look at ourselves and say that this is too much. This has gone too far. Because things evolve. Once you're able to sneak this thing through it, the three-dimensional polyester synthetic fiber one can go through metal detectors without you seeing through them. Meaning, those are now IEDs. That is an IED. We are giving way too... the school year is about to start up, and I had this argument with someone on Facebook 2 months ago where they were like, I don't know what you're talking about with all these school shootings, Hero. We don't have any. We haven't had school shooting in 2 months. I was like, bro, it's summer vacation. School's not in session. That dawned on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, could you imagine a kid
getting a credit card, swiping it for $3,000 to $6,000, depending on the weapon they want, like the fully auto or the semi-auto.
32 rounds and has 4 reloads before it's not usable.
I mean, you could.
That's enough to kill 100 people.
120.
Millionaire can agree on the safety part. My thing is, it's just my question. In a country where you can go get, because there's places like Florida, for example, you can buy the barrel, the stock, the handle, the repulse, the pull, the hammer. You just can't buy the base because that's the only part of the gun that's considered a weapon. So you can, in a country where you can build a gun, a real gun, and get it sent to you, you can buy guns anywhere. No one cares. Why is this being pushed for so much? There's no reason for it. Because even though we have a list that says people who are put on the no-fly list can't buy guns, they still go into stores and buy them anyway.
Yeah.
So what rules and regulations are we planning to bring? Does the next Vegas shooting have to take place with one of these guns?
It's not, honestly, there's nothing the government can do because...
They can do something. No.
They can't do anything.
No, they can do something.
Okay, so they can stop me from buying a 3D printer?
No, but they can definitely enforce it. Like
how would they enforce it? If let's just say
we have practical examples.
Okay, so if again we've had this conversation, the last gun conversation. A criminal, it will always be a criminal. They'll always find a way around. If I want to buy a 3D printer, I can buy a 3D printer. People who want drugs find drugs. People who want guns find guns. You're not going to be able to turn that off, and the government has no way of being able to deal with somebody in their basement with a 3D printer that they bought illegally and untraceably, and they're printing guns. There's not a way they can deal with that.
You could do. I mean, they have ways, but it's the cost benefit isn't. There is a way, but it's not cost effective for them.
I mean, but seriously, I'm waiting. How could they stop me if let's just say, for instance, hypothetically, they made the 3D printer illegal if you weren't running a certain kind of business, and if you got caught with one, it was an automatic felony, X amount of years and X amount of fine, mandatory.
Sure.
Let's say that was the case. How do they stop me from illegally buying that 3D printer and all the stuff that goes with it to make whatever the heck is I want to make?
Taking the money out of Jeff Sessions' religious task force and putting it towards actually doing proper drug and gun reform.
But I'm saying, how are they going to prevent me?
And you're right. That's the thing. You can't. I yield to that for sure. But we'd be remiss to say that our government is even remotely trying to effectively solve this issue.
I don't think so. I agree with you. I don't think that they're going to solve it. I think it's just something that is shocked because they've been putting years into trying to get this quote-unquote gun reform, which is really just outright confiscation. And this is what happens to people. I said necessity is the mother of all invention. And when people feel like you're trying to take something from them, they'll find a way.
But then from that perspective, they're delusional. Because we know the stats. We know that everybody in this country could have 8 guns on them. We talked about it last week, how we were saying, homeboy got shot, and he had to be a fool to think that fucking with some old white man in the middle of Florida wasn't going to be armed. Are you out of your mind? So, we know everyone has a gun. So, it's delusional. That's delusion. People who scream they're coming for our guns are fucking delusional. We know they can't take your guns. And what are they going to do? Form a SWAT team to go to everyone's house? They don't have the manpower, they don't have the financial stability, and they definitely don't want that type of bloodshed because we know click is on Facebook. So the gun situation, the 3D guns for me are no. When you have real guns, what do you need a plastic gun for?
Plastic guns are probably more efficient. They probably don't overheat.
It's a one shot.
Nah, some of those plastic guns you can shoot them.
Yeah, the enforcer one, but the pistol one, it does.
Yeah, they're talking about the Liberator. It's only a one shot.
What do you need that for?
That's like dire straits emergency. But here's the deal. Honestly, I would rather have a metal gun or a polymer pistol.
No.
I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather have a polymer pistol.
I'm asking I don't like guns, but if I ever had to use a gun,
yeah.
And I walked into the ammo cart and was going down my inventory and saw a plastic gun, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Now, one thing that does scare me about plastic guns, what if someone owns one and a kid thinks it's a toy? Now, that bothers me.
No, time out. And we'll take it a step further because Tamir Rice was shot because
he had a toy plastic gun.
And these guns they don't have any way to identify.
They don't have identifying markers to let you know it's real or fake. Right. So what if a kid picks up a plastic gun, it feels like his toy gun that he got from Walmart, and he turns it on himself, or he turns it on his brother, or he turns it on his friend.
And you can't say...
Or his parents.
Yeah, and you can't say that, that's not real.
It is, because it happened a few months ago that the little boy shot his dad.
And there was another one where a woman puts her purse in the back seat with her gun, fully loaded gun. The kid gets a hold of it, blows her brains out.
Yeah, no, I had a story at work where... Yeah, this happened. The little boy... He was about 3 or 4 years old. His dad left the pistol out. The little boy finds a pistol and shoots his dad. The little boy doesn't. All the little boy knows is daddy's gone. But as he gets older, he's gonna realize that he killed his dad. But it's not his fault. He doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake at 3 and 4 years old. He just doesn't know. He only has enough strength in his finger to pull on the trigger. That's it.
And this goes a little bit deeper into my whole content. I'm not a fan of tools of death. In my life...
So you're not a fan of your hands?
Anything's
a weapon, though.
And I'll even take it that point. I show extreme restraint when it comes to violent actions. I innately... When I used to wrestle, and even when I played football, people will tell you this. I don't always go 100%, and it wasn't because I was tired or anything like that.
Because I don't want to hurt the other person. Yeah,
I know the ramifications of my true strength, and it's not like, oh man, you're talking big shit now, and I'm like, well, yeah, I can. I played in the NFL, so I have that right. Mm-hmm. I am an all-state champion. I qualified for region. I went downstate. It's not like it was for show. I understood. And one of my greatest weapons as an athlete was innate understanding of my full potential of body control. Like, I can do a full split. Like, I have full range of my body. That level of understanding should apply to all aspects of life. Yeah. If you don't have it in that, you shouldn't be playing with it. Yeah. We know innately that tools of death just are there for death. So if you remove it, just standing with X's and O's. If there's no tool of death, then death can't occur. That's the logical reason.
Less death will occur.
Everyone dies.
Yeah, everyone dies, and people find other ways to kill you. They can poison. They can use their bare
tools
hands.
of death. But that's what I'm saying. If by means of hurting someone, anything that you can use to harm someone is removed from the equation, the chances of you harming that person drastically go down. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, me and Eric agree on one half of this, but I could see where like somebody would think it's like I would like to build a custom gun, but like you now change the situation because assault rifles are illegal. Fully automatic assault rifles are illegal. Yeah. Now all of a sudden they're not, and it's not because the laws. It's because people can make them. And there ain't no stopping nobody who's already got their hand on the assault rifle, fully automatic trigger. Game over. Yeah. So, and I feel more inclined to speak on it because, once again, every time I step out this house, even while I'm in this house, I have 3 windows around me. Any day, somebody can just let one of these things rip off. And that's it. There needs to be a consensus. And it can't come from, like Donald Trump tweeted that the 3D guns, I don't know if they're necessary, talk to NRA. Bitch, why aren't you talking to the people? You had a whole entire massacre happen in Florida, Parkland. That's your state, your favorite state to go to. You go there every week.
To play golf.
and you fucking love Vegas, hundreds of people died there. So, like, why aren't you talking to the survivors for your perspective? But this is a guy that has to write down
because he can't
nice words,
he can't tweet about that. I mean, this is the same guy who went to Puerto Rico and were throwing out paper towel rolls.
Yeah, so
I mean, you shouldn't ever expect that much from this guy. And listen, I'm not a Trump hater and I'm not a Trump supporter either.
I am,
but I can call a spade a spade. When it's stupid, let's just call it stupid. And if it was good, let's give him a. Yeah, give him a. He gets a single clap.
A single clap. He did. You standing up to the Koch brothers is great.
Yeah, I'm with that.
But all intents and purposes, we got one more show to do. It's gonna be for.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up.
Y'all can find us on Facebook, IG at The Identity Boo. You can find us on Google Play. You can find us on Last FM. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes. You can find us on Reddit, god dang it. I mean,
yeah, we are.
We ain't on Spotify. Screw you, Spotify. We ain't paying the $5. We ain't.
They not asking for $20.
I'm not paying it.
I was like, y'all got me fucked up.
I'm not paying it.
But there's some other places that got the free hosting side. I'm gonna check y'all out. But I don't think like Spotify. I don't know. Spotify is the most popular out of them. But at the same time, I'm like, bro.
But at this point, I don't feel like it's the $20 justifies where we are right now.
Yeah, like maybe that's exactly. We're a $5 podcast, not a $20 podcast.
But we will take our Facebook ads and Instagram ads though.
Yeah, because that gets us
instant feedback. You know what I'm saying?
But for all intents and purposes, thank you guys for joining us. This has been a kind of deep like roller coaster. I feel like this is a little bit emotional drain. Yeah. The next podcast is gonna give y'all the energy. Yeah. We coming with the force. So until then, continue to identify with us as we identify with you. As always, my name is Hero. My co-host Eric, the Boy Wonder. This is in the Identity Booth. Take care. I was trying to pick up one really good line. I think that